Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone and everything in between, welcome to episode 6 of the Stay Positive podcast. This is the nerdy episode where I get to geek out about video games, and Pete just sits there smiling, pretending, and nodding, pretending like he knows anything about what I'm talking about.
Thanks for introducing me, by the way.
All right, Pete, introduce yourself.
Okay, let's move on.
All right. I'm Alex, this is Pete, and today we are going to talk about The Last of Us 2, and we're going to have a tangent afterwards about revenge. So, I'm going to spoil the plot of The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2, just a quick summary right now, so skip ahead and, I don't know, try to figure out where I stop spoiling the plot. So basically, in the first Last of Us, you play as a character named Joel, some old guy, and he loses his daughter during the zombie apocalypse. And he's a bitter, he's grizzled, he's a survivor, but he's senile and old. And basically, the plot of The Last of Us is to transport a new 14-year-old girl named Ellie, who's around the same age as the daughter would have been, and travel across the country to deliver her to a research laboratory. It's revealed somewhere in the middle or early plot that she's immune to the virus, and that's what the whole adventure is about. And they spend the whole adventure surviving, going through chaos. Ellie even saves Joel's life, and it's just such a heartwarming, bonding experience on your average day in the zombie apocalypse. And at the end, big spoiler alert right now, but at the end of The Last of Us, Ellie is retrieved. She's with the Fireflies, and it's revealed that the virus manifests itself in the brain of its victims. So the only way to dissect Ellie's brain and to, get some samples and try to create a cure for the zombie virus is to dissect her brain, which would kill her. And Joel, he lost his daughter because of the zombie apocalypse, and he spent this whole game bonding with this new, substitute daughter. And
Substitute.
what would you call it? Daughter figure? I don't know.
Yeah, daughter figure.
Daughter figure, alright. So, and now he's about to lose it again because of the zombie virus. So he makes one of video games' most controversial decisions, and he decides to, invade the laboratory, the hospital, and kill everyone, all the doctors, all the soldiers, everyone that was there to save Ellie. And at the end, Ellie asks, Joel tells Ellie that they stopped looking for a cure, because Ellie was under anesthesia. She was asleep when Joel killed everyone. And Ellie proceeds to ask him, promise me that you're telling the truth, that, they actually did genuinely quit looking for the cure. And Joel says, I promise, and Ellie says, okay, and roll credits, and that's the basic plot of The Last of Us.
Real quick. Food for thought. Would you jeopardize all of humanity just to save your daughter figure?
Or save a loved one.
Yes. Okay, move on.
Yeah, it's a tough.
Food for thought.
I mean, like we all obviously, like, for us, we're like, no, that's such a stupid thing. But like, if you were in that position, like, you're about to lose like the only thing you're living for at the moment.
Dude, I genuinely couldn't tell you, because I hope I'm never in such a position.
Yeah, it's like you pick like the thing you love more than anything in the world, or all of humanity,
Or the world, essentially.
Yeah, or the world. Choose
that.
By the way, you have like 30 minutes. Go.
Yeah. Oh man. All right.
It's
Continue.
tough. So yeah, Joel makes that decision. It's probably one of the most discussed, endings to the story, because it's not even a choice. Joel, like, in some video games you can choose the outcome, but like.
So is this video game, is it choosing outcomes throughout the whole way?
Not really.
No. So it's only one storyline.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically like it's not the. Graphically speaking, it's one of the best games ever, and audio, one of the best games ever. Story, one of the best games ever.
Okay.
Voice act, like, everything about it's good, but the gameplay is kind of it's slow. It's very slow because it's very stealth based. You're not like, you have to like walk around and crouch around the zombies, and you have to like ambush your like all the human enemies. You have to like hide in behind cover and shoot. It's a cover-based shooter, so basically you're not running and gunning. You're like slowly maneuvering through it. So, take that as you will. It's not a bad game, but it's definitely a slow-paced, methodical game. And I think most people play the game for the story because it's a really good story. Which brings us to The Last of Us 2. So I played the original Last of Us. I did not play The Last of Us 2, but I saw a lot of hatred towards the plot. And once I heard about the plot, I can only agree that I'm not the biggest fan of it. And I'll ask Pete his thoughts on the plot because I didn't get to summarize it with him. So basically, in The Last of Us 2, a couple years passed. Ellie is more closer to a young adult. She's not like a 14-year-old as far as I can tell. I don't know what happens in the beginning, but essentially, hijinks happens. They establish the characters, and again, you play the game as Ellie in the beginning. She has relationships. They have their settlement. They have their people and such, and like hijinks happens. We're introduced to this other character, and Joel, the previous protagonist, ends up saving this character. It's a very muscular woman named Abby, and it's a reveal. Okay, so let's do it chronologically, how the game actually outlined its plot to see if it makes any sense. So you take control of Abby, from what I can tell, and Abby. So Joel and his brother reveal their identity. They reveal their settlement. They reveal way too much information.
To Abby?
To Abby and her group of survivors.
Okay.
And right off the bat, that's kind of odd because Joel is like a hardened survivor and his brother even more so. His brother in the first game literally was like fighting off like rebels and like crazy people like in his own little settlement. Mm-hmm. So it's just like these guys are not like casual talkers. They're not going to reveal their names and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. So it's uncharacteristic of them, but it's a high octane moment. They saved a life. They assume, hey, if we saved your life from dying, you're not going to hate us too much. Bold assumption, I know. So they reveal all that information, and then you proceed to play as Abby. You take control of her, and she proceeds to kill Joel.
This was the protagonist, right?
No. Ellie is the protagonist.
Oh.
Abby is this new character you just saved.
Joel was the protagonist.
Joel was the previous protagonist that you spent like 40 hours playing.
So they killed this dude off.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the game.
Roughly, yeah, in the beginning, early beginning.
Kidding me?
No. And do you want to know how?
No, I don't know if I necessarily want to know how.
Probably don't. It's the most.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to know how. If it's gruesome.
No, the game entirely is gruesome. Like when asked about the game, Naughty Dog, the developers, they said, we don't consider this a fun game. It's more of an engaging game. So they were adamant at refusing to call this game fun. Like, fun was not a word they wanted to associate to this game. And you can tell, the gameplay is a lot more gruesome. Like, every time you kill someone as Ellie, it's much more violent. That's you'll have, like, a shiv in your hand, and you'll, like...
Okay, let's not.
Okay. It's very much more bloody, gruesome, well animated. For better or for worse.
I'm just gonna say I'm not a big fan of... I don't know, I'm not a big gamer in any way, but, like... It's not like I don't have a stomach for that stuff, I just don't find it entertaining in any way.
Well, because they don't portray it in, like, a cool, like, Hollywood style.
Why would it... Hollywood doesn't portray it cool either, dude.
Yeah, they do.
No,
if it's choreographed... Listen to me, Pete.
Gross,
listen to me, Pete. If you're fighting... Listen to me. Listen to me, Pete. Audience, for all the gamers listening, please tell me you get this reference. Imagine you're playing as a cyber ninja, right? With an electro sword, and you're fighting a giant metal dinosaur nuke.
You sound the biggest...
And you're cutting it up with your, like, sword, and you're, like, running up its arm and jumping off of missiles. You don't think that's cool, Pete?
No!
Why not? That's cool. It's so over the top. Like, that's never gonna happen in real life. So you can just appreciate the spectacle. Last of Us 2 is not a spectacle. It's just real life. And anyone who plays a game to emulate real life is kind of...
Well, humanity's jacked up in its own sense. So
yeah,
I
but
mean,
like, I
premise.
play video games to escape real life, not go through it again.
Just buy yourself a VR headset and escape for real, bro.
They haven't made any VR games that good yet.
Okay, fair enough. So continue with the plot.
Okay, so you take control. So they're literally making you play as this new character called Abby, and you proceed to kill the protagonist, and you don't get a choice.
Story,
yeah, Joel. In front of Ellie, by the way. So Ellie's watching, and Ellie's screaming at like the top of her lungs is to stop, and she doesn't.
This is awful, man.
It is awful. I know. And so you don't know anything. As far as I'm aware, I haven't played the game, so I might be 100% wrong. But as far as I'm aware, you don't even know why Abby is doing this at that point. Like, you're just picking up this character you just met that you saved the life of, and you proceed to beat and kill the character who saved you, ironically enough, who was also the protagonist who was beloved by many. So now, and for whatever reason, Abby decides not to kill Ellie and Tommy, the brother, for what I don't know what possible reason you could have for killing like someone right in front of. You're killing the father figure of someone while they're watching, and you don't kill them. Seems like an amateur mistake, I know, but it's just weird. It's just weird. But whatever, it happens. And now Ellie is on a quest for revenge. She is going to avenge Joel's death and go after Abby and all of her gang members, all her family members, and she's going to kill them all.
Interesting. And that brings us to the real topic.
No, that's not it yet.
Almost.
That's not it.
I said almost.
Almost. Good save. So Ellie brings her girlfriend, along with the rides, because, relationships, loyalty, whatever. So you're bringing your character along, and hijinks happens, and you proceed to murder everyone. Everyone in that group, which were known as the Fireflies, by the way.
This game just sounds so graphic, man. Like,
well, not all at once. It's slow. You're not killing everyone. You know what they also do?
I'll never understand the fascination with games this graphic, honestly.
This graphic, I don't either. I prefer cartoony, because I can distinguish reality from not reality. You know what they also do? They do one of the most cheap tricks, writing tricks. They make, when you're playing as Abby, they make you play with the dog, her dog, right? Like you're playing catch with the dog, right? You're like interacting with the dog, having a lovely, fun, good time, right? And then Ellie meets her dog.
Oh no.
Yeah, and you can
Don't say anything.
I won't say it, but like you can get what happened.
Don't.
Yeah, you get it. And once again, you're not given a choice. This isn't like the developers are letting you decide what to do. The developers just decided, yeah, this is something Ellie would do. And it's just like...
Yo, these people that made this game really, like...
They missed the mark.
They've got some anger issues, I think, to say the least.
I don't know about that. There were some articles, but I don't know the truth. Anyway, it's revealed to us that Abby is actually the daughter of one of the doctors who was about to operate on Ellie. So, but this comes after you kill the character. So this isn't like something prefaced. This is something you find out later, after you already hate this person's guts. You want this person to die, right? If they kill your father, it doesn't matter what.
So, wait. So she got rid of Joel before she found out that...
No, she knew. She knew. Okay. But it's revealed to us, the player. We never knew why Abby killed Joel until after she kills Joel. And I'm going to criticize this after I summarize the plot, but so that basically that's how you're told the story is. You're forced against your will to play as a character who kills a character you love. No choice. Then you proceed to play as Ellie. Hijinks happens, and you proceed to kill everyone in the group of Abby's group, right? And throughout the game, Joel taught Ellie how to play guitar, right? And there are several moments in the game where Ellie's like, you get a like brief pause from all the gore, and you're just like strumming the guitar, right? So now, it's the end. It's you versus Abby. You lost everything. You lost your father figure. You lost your girlfriend. You lost everything.
Oh, wait a sec. Did what's her face? Abby? Did she kill Ellie's girlfriend?
I don't think. No.
Game?
Abby, I don't think killed her, but like I forget if the girlfriend's name is Dina, I believe. I don't remember.
Messed up, man.
I don't remember if Dina was killed or if she just left because she got sick and tired of following Ellie on this revenge story. Because it wasn't like her decision, you know. Would you follow someone like maddened by revenge who just keeps killing and killing?
No, not at all. But we'll talk about that after this.
That part's not important. That part's not important. Essentially, you lose your girlfriend, you lose your father, you lose everyone and everything in your quest for revenge, and you've killed everyone in that group and everything. Yeah.
Go on.
You did everything. You destroyed everything, and now it's the final confrontation. It's the moment you, the player, and Ellie have been waiting for. It's you, Ellie, versus Abby in like some lake or something, in a foggy lake, and you're both bloody, and it's gruesome. There's like knives.
Why do you have to be so graphic?
I'm not even graphic. I'm not even going into the specifics, right?
I'm imagining it nonetheless, which means everyone's listening is gonna imagine it.
Well, I said spoiler alert, so if you don't want to listen to what The Last of Us,
oh my god.
So you're fighting her, and for whatever reason, and within the fight, you're like strangling her. Ellie is strangling Abby and like drowning her, and Abby proceeds to bite off like 2 of her fingers.
Oh, dude, why?
And so that happens, right? And then after everything you've been through, all the violence, all the gore, all the vengeance, you know what Ellie does at the end? This is middle of the fight, right? You're like fighting.
I don't even want to guess, man. I'm horrified by this game already. So just lay it on me.
She walks away.
What do you mean she walks away?
She doesn't kill Abby. And just leaves her. She said, "All right."
So what is this other person is just sitting by this lake or like knocked out, half conscious?
No. They're like awake, right? But Ellie's just like, I don't know what happened. She's just like, I'm done. And she walks away. And that's The Last of Us 2. So you can imagine...
What?
You can imagine the backlash,
what
right?
Is... Okay, now I'm real confused because you just had this whole game with this 2 people hell-bent on getting revenge.
One, mainly.
But...
The girlfriend was just there. She wasn't the one killing.
No, I'm talking about Abby, dude.
Oh, yeah, Abby...
2 people hell-bent on getting revenge.
Yeah. One succeeds.
And, like... Yeah, one succeeds. The other one that's, I guess, in some sick, twisted way justified despite all the bloodshed that she had caused. What, dude? Oh my gosh, man!
So you can imagine the amount of hatred towards this game that like happened, right? Because like, just look at your reaction, right? You don't have any associated video games, and you're just like, what kind of ending is that?
Dude, like, I can write a better story in 2 days than that.
Like, here's the thing.
That's so absurd.
And I guess the moral is like the endless cycle of revenge and how revenge is bad. And a lot of video game critics that aren't the mainstream media that are bought out, they say this. It's like, listen, we know revenge is bad. We get it. You don't need to ham-fist it every single time, And I don't know if it's important to tell you this, but Ellie doesn't take really satisfaction in what she's doing. Like, she's really horrified in her actions, but she's really hell-bent on getting to Abby. And when she's killing these people, it's more like they're getting in her way. Like, it's not like she's not like she's a murder machine, but like she's not taking any pleasure in it. Whereas Abby was taking sadistic pleasure in what she was doing. So like.
They're like, yeah, I guess they're still trying to keep a good relationship with Like the player and the protagonist.
Yeah, but like
Despite
they
the
forced you to do
unethical
horrible things.
Yeah, the just purely unethical nature of this game entirely.
Ethics have nothing to do with it.
I mean,
What? What? You think Shakespeare or the Oedipus? No, not yeah, Oedipus or all those Greek epic stories. They're filled with tragedy and horrible stuff.
yeah.
So you can't like be like, oh, this is bad. It's like it's been bad for years, for centuries, for millennia.
Yep.
Because bad stuff
I'm
is
not
cool.
denying. Bad stuff is cool.
I mean,
No. I think bad stuff is entertaining. to
and
people.
yeah, it's all
That is the
It's-
horrifying
it's
reality.
it's always the expression. It's always like funny when it's someone else. It's like, yo, Pete, Pete, calm down.
Oh, I'm dying.
Not like Abby though.
That was so off the cuff.
And all the comments in like YouTube sections are imagine like Thanos getting all 5 Infinity
Oh my
Stones
God,
and
dude.
forgetting to snap.
Yeah, I mean,
Like basically,
I mean,
that's all like these
this
comments are
this
like,
person Ellie basically Thanos snapped this whole video game, right?
except the one
Except-
she actually wanted
Yeah.
to do it.
It's true.
And you know what they do even worse? At the end, they make you pick up a guitar, right? But she bit off your fingers, so you can't strum it. And this is supposed to send like the
Oh my gosh,
this is the
my
message.
gosh.
This is supposed to add on to the message that like revenge is bad and you lose everything.
Yeah.
Like they're really like taking that revenge hammer and
Wait.
smacking it on your head.
Wait, that's actually hilarious though.
It's so mean
I
though.
find that so funny.
It's so mean.
She goes to pick up a guitar and play.
Cause that's
Oh my
because
gosh.
Joel taught her how to play guitar, right?
No,
So-
I get it.
so it's
man.
like the one thing-
So messed up.
I know. It's she literally lost everything, and she didn't even get the revenge she wanted. Oh, by the way, Abby was pregnant. I think that was
Oh my gosh.
that was
dude.
probably one of the
That's
reasons.
a huge thing.
That was probably one of the reasons she let her
Wait,
go.
what? Now this changes everything.
No, it doesn't. I don't want to go any more graphic than I should.
No,
but
no, you shouldn't. I
Yeah.
don't want to hear anything.
You don't want to hear it, but
Anything
essentially, let me just say,
Don't.
let me just say this. You know, her being pregnant should not have been a factor. I'm just gonna leave it at that. No comment.
Oh no, I was gonna say her being pregnant makes her even more sick and sadistic.
Well, she didn't kill her.
To me,
She didn't kill her though.
that's no. I'm saying,
Oh, Abby's sadistic.
I'm saying, dude, like, you are carrying
A
a
child.
child.
I mean, it's the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah, so everything's fine when your whole.
There's
Well,
no police. All right, so
Yeah, there. I mean, there's no way to. I don't know, man. This is just so messed up. This whole premise.
The premise isn't even that bad, and this is where I want to criticize Naughty Dog if they're ever going to listen to this and
Who?
go right. The developers.
Okay.
Naughty Dog is the company that made the game.
Nutty Dog.
Naughty.
Oh, Naughty
Dog.
Dog.
They made this game as
You're
well. As,
looking at me like I'm the most uncultured swine.
yeah,
known to
I mean, I
human
started
beings.
this episode with like you don't know anything and I know everything. So
Well, I mean,
So-
I'll admit my ignorance here.
So basically, my idea on how to fix this plot is to start the game off as Abby, you know, because realistically, the Joel killed her dad, right? So to a certain extent, she is justified in her hatred. You
Okay.
understand? But like, you don't find out about that until after she kills Joel. So when you're the player, you're gonna hate this person. You understand?
Mhm.
You're gonna hate her because you don't even know why she did it. She's just a heartless monster that beat your dad figure to a pulp. It's like, come on.
Dude, I don't know, man, but the more you describe both these games, I don't know, the second game, the first game has a,
The first game has a lot
I
of.
don't want to say wholesome, but it's in the midst of all this gruesome, it's kind of like
Compared to The Last of Us 2,
a good story,
yeah,
you know,
compared- they're both like relatively
savory in a way, not savory. It's like it's a guy saving his daughter figure.
Yeah.
But like the second one, man, it seems more absurd every second you talk about it.
I mean, they want to get the point across. Revenge is bad, and they are willing to sacrifice everything and everyone to establish that.
What a joke.
But
Oh my god.
basically, to save the story, you should play as Abby at the beginning, not Ellie, because when you start playing as Abby, you don't know anything about this character. You don't even know like what her life story is or anything about her. You only find out about that after you already despise her guts. Like you hate this person when the game like actually starts. You understand? Excuse me. So, in my mind, I think the way to save this plot would be to start the game as like a flashback sequence, like of that horrible moment in the hospital of the first game, and going to Abby as like a little girl or a younger girl, and seeing this from her perspective. You understand her perspective? Because like, imagine how horrifying that is. Like your dad died
Yeah,
to this
of course.
crazed man, and he's a doctor. He's not a soldier, right? And he
Yeah.
dies, and you're just like, I want to find the person who did this. This is not
Yeah.
right, and that starts her quest, and then it's revealed to us who that person is. And one thing I really don't understand is they make Abby like revenge. Like Ellie really doesn't like revenge. She's really like conflicted when she's killing all these people.
Yeah.
Like she's clearly miserable and upset, but she's doing this
As I feel a normal,
as
a
a
human
normal
being would be.
Yeah, she's really like suffering, right? But Abby she's fine with this. She's enjoying this, So it's just like, why would I care about this person? You understand? Like, in my mind, I think you should have made Abby a lot more conflicted because Joel saves her life. You understand? Like, a zombie is literally on top of her, about to bite her or eat her, and Joel comes out of nowhere and like shoots the zombie in the head. It's like, get up, come on. It's like, let's get out of here. He literally is saving her. And I would like really, I think what would be really amazing is if Abby showed some confliction. Like, where she's like alone, like looking in a mirror or something, and she's just like, what should I do? I spent the last 3 or 4 years hunting this man down, and he shows up to save my life. Because, like, just imagine that. It's like you are hunting someone down, and that same person saves your life. What would you do? Just the level of confliction, right? Because normally if someone saves...
Oh, wait, you mean conflict. I'm sorry,
No, confliction.
Confliction?
Yeah, because that's a word.
Inner conflict?
Inner conflict. Because, on the one hand, she spent her whole, like, the last few years hunting this man. She wants him dead. On the other hand, he just saved your life. So you kind of owe him one, right? So imagine, like, how you would feel. Like, honest to God, if the man you hated saved your life, what would you do? Would you kill him?
Hate him more for giving me a reason to not want to kill him.
No, but, like, seriously, would you go through with killing him? And I feel what would have made this plot so much more interesting is Abby is, like, actually, like, not sure what to do, and one of her, like, friends convinces her to do it. Because she has a whole party of people, right? And I feel like that would make us actually sympathize with Abby, because she's really, like, doesn't know what to do. She's, like, lost. Like, because on the one hand she wants to kill, on the other hand she doesn't. And only when she's convinced by, like, some third-party member, then she actually goes through with it. But that's not what they did. They decided, no, Abby wants to kill. She doesn't care who, she doesn't care why. It's just...
Man.
So that's probably the biggest part where I'm just like...
I will say I actually agree with you. Because, yeah, I mean...
Because you have no
to
sympathy.
kind of save this is, like, you gotta put yourself in this psycho human's shoes in some way, understand her pain.
But, like, they don't show any sympathy. Like,
Yeah.
I really think they wanted us to sympathize with Abby and maybe question Ellie, but that's not how it comes across. We want this person dead. Like, we want to kill them. We are killing all these people. We are doing all of this to get to that final moment where Ellie finally gets revenge for Joel. But that's not what happens. And I feel like that just leaves a bitter taste. Like, here's the thing, Naughty Dog. If you, for some reason, are actually listening to this, please, here's like a writing tip from a guy who's never written anything in his life. When you're doing a revenge story and your message is how revenge solves nothing, or there's a cycle of revenge, or revenge will cost you everything, you have to go through with the revenge. You cannot finish the plot of your revenge story without the final revenge. Because if you do that, you miss the one thing you spent this whole time going for.
Unless they were trying to just get across the point that revenge is not.
But Abby got her revenge, so what's the moral?
Revenge is not worth it.
It was worth it for her.
but
She gets to live. She killed her dad's murderer. It's like she got everything she wanted, minus like a few like comrades. You know, not even like close
maybe
friends.
they wanted to get across that this Ellie character saw the light in the end.
After you know,
After
like
decimating
mountains
the whole...
of after mountains of innocents being killed, the one she actually wants to kill is the one she said, you know what, I've had my fill of bloodshed. You know, you get to live. All those innocent people I killed, nah, it's fine.
I might have to add that we are still the Stay Positive podcast.
We are the Stay Positive. Don't worry, we're gonna tangent into more positive subjects, but like I'm just trying to like understand, you know, like we don't care for Abby, and that is definitely a mistake by the writers, you know, from the way they structured the plot. You know,
I'm like baffled that games like this exist, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
why? It's art. It's a form of art.
Okay, let's take a step back here, and we're not gonna say that this game itself.
No, not this game, but like video games can tell very nice stories.
No, I agree with that.
Like the first.
I'm saying stories, yeah.
If you need an
But
example,
this is not.
No. This is overkill. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want a good video game story, might I suggest The Last of Us?
Oh my god.
It's a good story.
Uh,
So anyway, so we've talked.
It's unbelievable, man.
The gameplay is relatively the same, and I wanted to say this at the beginning. I guess it's a bit late for that now, but everyone who's listening to this, please don't attack or verbally go after any of the developers or voice actors. No, Pete, don't laugh. This is serious because people actually
Really?
are like giving death threats to
Oh, what?
to the voice actor.
Okay,
of
wait,
Abby.
that's very, very, very bad.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, Pete, guys, the voice actors and you know the game designers, the programmers, they are not to blame for any of this. So please do not resort to any hostility at all. No, they don't deserve this. You know, they're just people doing their job. They've done nothing wrong. You know, they're just doing their jobs. You know, as are the programmers, the environmental artists, the musicians, the composers. No one here deserves any, you know, hostile remarks. You know, criticizing their work is 100% fine. You know, like I just did. I came up with my own version, and I might be 100% wrong. I've never written anything, but you know, I just feel like if your goal was to empathize with Abby, they could have gone a much better route. But I feel they were just so desperate on portraying revenge in a bad light that they just kind of sacrificed the integrity of their own characters for that. But you know, but that's a critique. You know, do not go after anyone who was a part of this game, please. On that note, Pete, yeah,
I would love to give you my thoughts on. Well, I've kind of given you my thoughts on what I think of this game.
You don't like
Gameplay, absolutely do not like it. Well, okay, I'll be honest. Like I said before, I do think that the story of the first game is
sounds good,
quite intriguing.
Yeah.
You know, the second game is a freaking roller coaster,
it's
man.
Gory.
That's just awful. The way that they do this, like, once again, I am no video gamer. I don't play, like, the extent of my gaming knowledge is Mario Kart on DS.
Yeah. You want to know something funny?
Which I'm unbeatable at, by the way.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
Is the vast majority of people, like not the media conglomerates, but like actual like independent reviewers and gamers, they say this. They say if you want to like torture yourself or, you know, have a bad time or just be miserable, play this game. Because like that's the mood it puts you in. You're not having fun. Like Naughty Dog themselves even said this. This game is not a fun game. It's an engaging game, but it's not a fun game. You know? So when the developers themselves are telling you, hey, by the way, this isn't fun, you know, you can't really, in some aspects, they succeeded. You know, no one's having a fun time playing this game.
Which is, you see, now that's so interesting. Like, how can you have a market to sell this game?
Well, it's a sequel to a beloved game.
I know, but how can you have a market for a game that you claim would not give like this overwhelmingly good reaction?
I mean, why do people go to horror movies or
No, because they enjoy it.
so maybe
They enjoy being scared, but no one enjoys
no,
not having
what
fun.
about movies like World War II movies? I forget the not Schindler's List. There was one in Inglorious Bastards. You know, do you ever see that movie?
Yeah, I actually haven't watched it, but I've seen little clips and
There are
tidbits.
moments that are really dark, you know, in that movie, and it's just like, you know, why would you go voluntarily to see that? You know, because you know there it's not necessarily fun per se, but like engagement or like thrill, you know, that kind of thing. So that could.
Oh
be
wait, you know what I
relevant.
love about this movie is that they spelled that word
Incorrectly.
on purpose.
Yeah.
Wait, can you explain what it is? I know it's World War II,
Yeah.
but what is the plot exactly?
I forget.
Oh, okay,
It's
beautiful.
like a spy is like.
Oh wait, yeah.
infiltrating.
They infiltrate
The Germans.
The Germans, yeah, and then
And there's this like really tense scene where they're all at like a restaurant.
yeah, I watched
And
the
one
video
of
on that.
the spy accidentally puts up 3 fingers.
But it's supposed to be the thumb, the pointer, and the middle
yes.
finger.
So the Germans, and this is true.
And that's how they knew he was lying.
I had a German professor, and I asked him, "Hey, could you hold up 3 fingers?" And he actually did hold it
No
up
way.
like this. And so I found out the Germans actually like instinctually hold it up with the thumb,
Wait, actually?
index, and middle finger.
I'm gonna ask my German.
I didn't tell him about the movie. I just said, "Hey, professor, can you hold up 3 fingers?" Just to see like what he would naturally do. And lo and behold, he held it exactly the way that in the movie it was held.
Huh.
And you know, in the movie, the spy accidentally holds it up like an American would with the index, middle, and ring.
Gets caught and
they
proceeds to be...
all kill each other.
Yeah, of course, because that's
below the belt.
That seems to be the common theme today. Unfortunately,
it's the revenge podcast.
No, I mean, yeah, that is true. Like so shall I go into the reason as to why we spoke about The Last of Us 2?
Because I wanted to.
Yeah. Okay.
But
this
now,
is a totalitarian rule here, people.
No, I asked you last week, do you want to talk about this? And you said... Oh,
I said because of the premise of revenge.
Yes, because now, 30 minutes in, we get to talk about our main topic for today. So we got to indulge about a little bit of gaming culture. We got to talk about a horrible, gory story and... give my 2 cents on how to improve the story.
Oh, it was, I mean, a relatively good story that gave rise to a horrible story.
Yeah. You know? What do you think? Do you have any ideas on how to improve the story, or do you just agree with the stuff I suggested?
I mean, I don't even know where to start, man.
Do you think maybe getting rid of Abby as a playable character entirely would have been better if we just solely saw it from Ellie's perspective?
Well, isn't this a conundrum? I feel as though if you want to understand what this Abby character goes through, you need to be
in her shoes.
Yeah, you need to be in her shoes more, but like see her in a sympathetic light. Like they paint her as this villain. They paint a picture of her as this crazy, psychotic villain, and yet Ellie is the one who feels bad, but she's the one that's doing all the bad as well.
Yeah. They both do bad stuff, but like Ellie's like the good guy, but like not really, because revenge is bad, you know. That's basically the moral, is like, don't do revenge, which I get it, but like if you want to make that message, don't let the main villain succeed in their revenge.
SMH, man. But
whatever. So
what we can learn from this is
don't do revenge.
Don't do revenge.
It's not worth it.
I mean, when you think about it, I don't know how many case studies there have been in history about revenge stories. I don't know if you have any off the top of your head. I feel like there are so many that I can't think of right now.
I feel there's a lot of like literature that covers revenge.
Literature.
Yeah.
You told me about Macbeth.
Yeah, because
yeah,
Macbeth, he didn't so much
Shakespeare for y'all.
He didn't go after revenge, but he went after power. And then he was so afraid. He was so afraid of revenge that he tried to kill like all of the so he basically kills the king, and he tries to kill all of the subjects of the king, right? And one of them actually manages to flee, like successfully survive, and he is freaking out. You know, he's just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be killed," right? But that's kind of less of a revenge story. It's more just the threat of revenge alone is like enough to drive you mad and insane. You know.
I mean, I think the way this can be boiled down to, or the idea this can be boiled down to, is the people put in this position of revenge are so insecure about their own standing when it comes to what's the word? I can't.
Justice.
I don't want to say justice. The word is really escaping me right now.
Say it again. What were you saying? Their thoughts of what?
The people that are seeking revenge are very insecure about their own
safety, livelihood, well-being, their environment around them.
I think it was supposed to be well-being.
Yeah, because revenge makes you obsessed. You're obsessed. Usually when you pursue revenge, you become obsessed with it, and then you lose everything in the process. That's usually...
No, I don't know. The word escapes me. I have the idea in my head though, but it has to do with obsession. To be fair, because yeah, like when you obsess over something and it's not like a
healthy.
It's not. Yeah, you know, like there are certain obsessions that are good. You know, good for you. You can obsess over something you love, but like what happens when you claim that you love revenge? That's moral depravity.
Most people don't love revenge. Revenge is usually revenge is not good because
nope.
Usually when you succeed in it, usually when we imagine revenge, we imagine like severe stuff where it's not like someone pushed me so I like stole his crayons. You know, that's not the revenge we're talking about. We're talking about like if someone does something really bad to me, I have to do something even worse to them. You know, that kind of revenge. It's just not worth it because...
Oh, I got it. It makes them insecure about their sense of equality.
Sense of equality?
Because of what you just said. Like, someone like did something bad to my crayons,
yeah.
So I have to do something bad back to them. So now we're equal.
Evil. An eye for an eye.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like... like, I don't know. It's weird. The whole, like, was it Gilgamesh, eye for an eye? Or no, it was... Hammurabi, there we go. That whole thing, like, justice should be served equally to everyone.
Punishment,
yeah. According to punishment, which I mean, I don't know. This whole like justice talk, it's like weird because most punishments are unequal. So how can you just serve? Or most injustices are unequal. So how can you serve punishment equally? Most of the time,
it's very hard.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. It's like. It's this whole thing when you commit like in the end you probably see Abby worse than Ellie, right?
Yeah.
But Ellie is the one that basically, like I said before, decimated the whole game. So like you see, that's my point. Like,
that's the nature of that's why it's called the cycle of revenge. It's like Joel killed someone. That's the relative of that someone killed Joel. Now Ellie kills everyone else. You know, and theoretically, if she successfully... No, that's the thing that probably makes me upset, is Ellie is still going to be persecuted, because Abby's still alive, and some of the Fireflies are still alive. So she's going to be...
Well, of course.
Yeah, but, like, she didn't even get her revenge, and she still got all the negatives, so... That's probably... But that's beside... We established that Last of Us 2 plot's not that good, but...
No, but that's my point, you know, it's... In the end, it's going to be... You are forced to... support this character that like got hurt by someone, right?
Yeah.
And she commits all these atrocities, and then the other person who enjoys committing the atrocities, like you have to kind of accept that they get away with all of that scot-free. But she enjoyed it. It's like imagine like premeditated murder versus accidental murder.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't settle with me well at all.
No, yeah, one was in cold
Because in
blood.
the end, like, yeah, exactly. You know, like in the end, they kind of force you, like I said, to really like dislike Ellie, and I mean, you dislike the story, as a byproduct, of
Yeah.
course, but like, obviously the message is don't don't become obsessive with hurting other people because they hurt you.
Yeah, so now I guess we can talk a little bit about our thoughts on revenge.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I have quite a few
so yeah, we basically
stemming from what I just said. Yeah.
I can't speak for P, but basically, revenge to a certain extent is not worth it. Like, because here's the thing: if something bad happens to you and you indulge your your personal sense for justice by enacting revenge, there is a strong, very strong chance that it's going to bite you back, or you're going to lose a lot in your pursuit of revenge. Like, you just kind of lose yourself, and it's in that sense it's not worth it, because I like to believe the vast majority of people and all of the people who listen to the Stay Positive podcast have a beautiful life worth living.
Yeah.
And you don't want to waste that simply because of an unfortunate accident.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are bad people in the world, but
Yeah.
if you spend your whole life trying to like hunt them down or track them down, you know, it's, I mean, I get it, but like that's your life you're wasting away for that
Yeah.
one thing. Now, to a certain extent, if this is like a massive problem, like, for example, like child abduction or that kind of stuff, that's less revenge and more like stop this illegal horrible stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's a clear cut case where there are just people that are morally depraved.
Yeah, but like let's say someone got in a car accident and your loved one was killed, and the person who hit them, like,
They T-boned their side, and I mean, like, yeah, that's a totally different case. It's like, what you're gonna hold a vendetta against this person? I mean, okay,
you shouldn't.
like,
That's the point.
yeah, like, I mean, okay, what happens if the person's drunk? Okay, like,
If there's that makes it
you
more
might,
angry.
yeah, you might think this is controversial, but I don't think like any person that was like drunk, like, yeah, it's extremely irresponsible, and they should still be held accountable. But I think if I were to put myself in that person's shoes, they definitely didn't like
They didn't.
expect to go and hurt somebody.
No, they didn't do it out of malice, but like that
Yeah.
probably makes it
They did it
all
out
the
of
more.
irresponsibility.
Yeah, that probably makes it all the more
Which is-
frustrating because
Yeah,
like
exactly.
of the two of them, the one who in your eyes would have deserved death lives, and the one who didn't do anything wrong was gone.
Yeah, I think the way I see it is, one really, really not in stark contrast to you, but I think like there's a certain time where you just need to accept that there are some things you can control and some things you can't. And then once we start obsessing over things that fall outside of our sphere of things we can control, then we like end up spiraling into this terrible like I can even give so many examples from playing tennis all these years. Like we're taught from a young age to have a short term memory, and what happens like 1 or 2 points later when you're dwelling on the point from the past, like you're gonna end up screwing the whole game because you had no
Because
like
you weren't able to
no
move
focus. You couldn't move on. You couldn't like control what was like in front of you in the moment. You were literally focusing on stuff that already happened. It's like this whole notion of being stuck in the past and being like caught in this whole cycle, this obsessive thing.
It spirals out of control.
It does, and then you just end up falling off the tracks, off the rails. In the end, you end up dragging people with you, and like, I understand that, things happen to people, and like, not everybody lives a perfect life, but you have to understand within yourself. And I'm also no lecturer. I'm not trying to lecture anybody right now either. I just feel it's important to recognize, like, like take a step back and recognize, like, if you are doing something just for the purpose of hurting someone else, maybe you should, take a step back, because like they may have hurt you, but like you're taught this thing from a young age, like two wrongs don't make a right, right?
3 rights make a left.
Wow, that was off the cuff. Also, like I will say like, and I love my grandfather, but he always told me when I was younger, like, don't get mad, get even, and that's kind of counterintuitive to the way I see it. You know, like I was taught from a young age to always like get back at someone. Apparently, you know, because like if they
No,
wronged me,
I interpret that expression "don't get mad, get even" as not revenge. Getting mad is the revenge. Getting even is rising above that revenge. You know, to like if someone like
really,
if someone
that's not how I took it. To be fair,
like if someone like bullies you or harasses you
Yeah.
or like tries to put you down or belittles you or tries to make you feel bad, you could like spend your time like pranking them or like trying to get back at them, or you could just persevere and like rise above them and
Huh.
eventually surpass them.
that's a hot take. I never ever thought of it like that. But you know, come to think of it, that's actually a way better way to think about it.
Yeah, that's why I chose to think. I know what the expression "don't get mad, get even" means.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, from the surface level, it sounds like don't like get your emotion. Don't get overwhelmed by your emotions.
Just get back at them.
Just
you know?
just get them back. And
That's how I thought of it all the time.
no, that's fair. I mean, to a certain extent.
Well, in that case, I apologize.
No,
for
no.
listening, Grandpa.
No. I think that's how it's supposed to be taken. But like the thing is, usually revenge is very linked to emotions. Like you're
Yeah.
not really thinking rationally when you're going
Yeah.
for revenge.
Emotional instability, emotional insecurity. That is like another primary cause of the need to get back at someone.
Like there was one time in high school, and this is such a horrible, stupid example, but I still love it. Is someone stole my clothes from my locker?
What?
Yeah, from my gym locker, and I
No
was
way.
just like, and I found them. Like I found the guy, and I found his locker open. I saw my clothes in there. I'm like, hey, I think those are my clothes. He's like, nah, man, those are my clothes. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure my size is bigger than yours. If you just like give me my clothes back, I'll show them. It's like, nah, man, those are my clothes, right? And like, I could have gotten mad. I
Yeah.
could have like go overreacted, but I'm like, all right. He proceeds to like talk to some people, like basically looking away from the locker, and I stealthily like steal my clothes back. I steal my clothes back, put him in my locker, and walk away. Wait for him to leave, and then I change back into my clothes. And I'm just like, if I gotten mad, I couldn't have done that, and I probably would have gotten in trouble, right? But
So are you telling me to hold you on a pedestal for keeping your cool and
no, I'm
like,
saying
pulling a fast one on this kid?
I'm saying keeping your cool is definitely the best way to go about things. Because if you get
No, it's
if
true.
you get angry, you know, I've met so many people. Not so many. I've met a very strong handful of people that when they get mad, they say things and do things, and then they don't even remember doing or saying them. And I'm
yeah,
like,
like they black out completely.
and I'm just like, you don't remember like all the swear words and death threats that you like said like, just yesterday. It's like that doesn't sound like me. I would never do that. And I'm just like, it was you. You know, it just shows you how like intoxicating anger and frustration can be.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes people when they see red, they only will see red, and like until the blood pressure goes down, you know, it's tough, man. But yeah, it's linked to that emotional, that sense of emotional instability. Like if you're, I don't want to say weak emotionally, but if you don't have your emotions in check, if you're unable to keep a fine balance. Like, I'm gonna sound like some kind of monk right now, but you want to keep your zen. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep yourself spiritually intact.
What's Zen?
You've never heard of like Zen? You know, like Zen monk master.
Or like, what is it?
I have no idea.
Like a spiritual equilibrium.
Yeah, think of it as like emotional equilibrium. You know, just
Stay balanced.
stay balanced within yourself. If you cannot find that, then like the odds of you spreading that to someone else also increase like tenfold. Because, dude, like one thing that we both know is that positivity is definitely contagious, but negativity I feel like is 10 times more contagious.
Misery likes company.
Yeah, dude. Like all the bad things in the world, I feel like, are just, they spread like COVID-19.
Just yeah, I mean, look at all these riots. These are dozens, if not hundreds, of people that like quote unquote unified because of a cause, but like they're acting out of anger and spite. I don't want to say all of them, but it looks and sounds like a lot of them aren't really thinking. They're just feeling angry and they're just channeling it out in a very destructive manner. Which I think is counterintuitive.
I guess the way I see it is if you want to really kind of add to someone's life, or if you want to really get back at someone, show them why what they did is wrong and help them understand. Like try to destroy their ignorance rather than them as a human being, because that just puts you on a higher level than them. Like you're not going to stoop to their level.
Yeah.
If they committed a wrong, or they did wrong by you, and so if you do wrong by them, you're gonna sink down to what they are, and you don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Because you're an amazing person.
It's
right,
true.
Alex?
Always. But I have a slightly different take.
Okay.
If someone wrongs you, you shouldn't try to sober them up, depending on what the wrong is. Like if the wrong is something minor or something major but unintentional, then maybe you can try to reason with them. But if the person is genuinely a malicious character or someone who has no shame
of course.
in like doing bad to you and doesn't bat an eye, then you should first of all, I think I should specify that being kind and rising above someone does not mean just taking it, right? When someone does you wrong the first time, you shouldn't go after revenge, but definitely be more cautious and aware for the second time. Like, be prepared for the second time. Because the first time was unforeseen. The second time, you should, like, take action to brace yourself for any possibility that whatever happens again. Because, like, if you just, like, completely ignore the bad stuff that happens to you, you're being ignorant to yourself. You're just assuming, oh, that won't happen again. But it could happen again.
True that.
So when we say don't go after revenge, that doesn't necessarily mean, just forget what happened, Definitely remember it, just don't let it overwhelm you with anger and frustration, and just, learn from it and make sure you're prepared for it the second time. And once again, not everyone is evil monster, there are some horrible people, and those people you shouldn't waste a single second of your time trying to like reason with them. You should just avoid them like the plague. But for those people who might be, misguided or, need maybe a bit of help, you could try to reason with them. But that definitely wouldn't be my first course of action. You just need to rationalize it out. You just need to feel it out for yourself. Like, pay attention to the guy or girl in question and see if they're willing to, like, if you reach your hand out to them, they'll be able to grab on.
That's true. And I actually have a bit of a story that kind of coincides with that view a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and it actually happened this year. So it was like with the people that I was living with at school, because they were friends of one of my teammates, and I wasn't particularly fond of them because they were always having people over at inopportune hours.
You want to say this?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
I mean, like I don't hate them or anything.
Okay.
It's just that we didn't live well together, and that's fine. Not everybody's gonna be on perfect terms when they're living together. It's just how it is. But there came a point in time when I really should not tell the story. So never mind.
All right.
But the moral of the story is...
how about just a very brief message about it?
So I have a story that basically, in a way, kind of reflects this idea that you just presented. And I won't tell the whole story just so that I can avoid, jeopardizing some...
any conflict.
people... on my side and on the other side. But essentially, what I learned from this story is that no matter the kind of relationship you have with someone, whether it be good or bad, if you like go ahead and try to act upon that anger, which like in this case they had tried to do that to me despite me not being in the wrong, then you're only going to create bigger problems. Whereas the way I saw to fixing it, and in a way it did kind of fix things and in a way it didn't, but that's not what's of concern here. What I mean is like I didn't do anything to piss anyone off. I didn't do anything to instigate any conflict. And in the end, things ended up pretty fine, you know? Like, I realized, like, I learned from the first thing, and I moved on, and I was like, okay, you know, now I'm expecting something like this to happen again, and, like, no, I'm not going to let anyone mess with me. If they do me wrong, like, I'll let them hear it. But at the same time, you know, I know that they're not going to be as rational as I am when it comes to a certain situation, so, you know, it comes a point in time where you don't necessarily take it, but you have to let it go, because eventually someone is just gonna not be as rational and as forthcoming with their honesty, you know, like about a situation as you are. You know, like I could tell you that, like to use another tennis example, like I can cheat someone who cheated me on the court, right? And really all that kind of teaches like younger players is that like you don't want to take anything from your opponent. Like you're not going to let them cheat you out of a match, for instance. But the reason I always had terrible problem with doing that was because I didn't want to
stoop to their level.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't want to be considered like that person that would just get back because I learned the harsh reality that in a certain situation I'm going to do it anyway, because some people don't understand, like they're literally that low. But like most of the time I knew if someone cheated me, I would be like, I mean, what's the point? You know, I'm not them. I'm not gonna bring myself to be like them just so that I can like give myself the momentary satisfaction of justice.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think the moral everyone listening should take from this is, you know, you should never instigate, you should never confront, you should never cause any conflict, but like also don't take anything. Like don't be bullied or pushed around or
you are an autonomous vehicle on a road to liberty, happiness, and ice cream. I don't know.
All right. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. Go on.
Basically, like, you know, don't just sit there and take it. Like, you have the power to, like, make change. You have the power to walk away. You have the power to be the better person. As well as you do have the power to, like, stoop to their level and, like, basically drop your own quality of being if you want to go down that route.
And then in the process, you know, spiral out of control and become obsessively
You put yourself in the risk of that. You know,
You know?
that's not like the vast majority. Like people don't do that, but like you do definitely put yourself in a situation where that could happen. Should you ever like stoop down to like lower levels?
Yeah.
Like always aim to be the best you can be.
Like I don't try to burn bridges with people. Like if I have a relationship with someone, I want to make sure that it's a good and healthy relationship. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to be mean or rude to anybody, even if it's a person I don't like. There's one thing, like somebody I used to be close with. They said that I always have this tendency of being super casual and super nice to even the people that I dislike the most. And I mean, like,
because it's not worth it.
yeah, exactly. You know, it's not worth resenting people, because you know in the end you're just gonna give in to those vices that bring you to be like them when they do you wrong. And
I mean, no one's asking you.
You are kings and queens, ladies, gents, and everything in between. You don't have to feel like you need to stoop to other people's level.
Exactly. I mean, you don't have to be their best friend. You know, like you don't have to befriend every person on earth. You know, you have every right to not like someone, but it doesn't mean like you need to cause any trouble. Like, and if they're starting to act out of line or like you just don't even like being in their presence, you don't need to like cause trouble, you could just walk away.
It's totally true, man. Yeah, it's revenge is not worth it. If you want to get back at someone, I say kill
Be
them
better
with
than
kindness or be better than them. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Yeah, but on that note,
At least
if
that's
you
our
can-
opinions.
Yeah, that is our opinions. We're professional happiness counselors.
It's true.
No, not really.
Doctorates.
PhDs in
Happiness.
PhDs in happiness, exactly.
Self-proclaimed.
Doctorates in positivology. But what I will say is
Positivity, you freak.
positivology, bro. Relax. On that note, we can for sure say that if you want to be a more loving and caring person to other people, don't seek out to try to hurt them because they hurt you, I would say think long and hard on what action it is you are going to take, and make sure that action is well planned, well thought out, but not malicious, and make sure that is doing right by someone and not wrong by everyone or anyone.
Make sure it's legal. Disclaimer.
Yes, please. And so
Don't get caught.
yeah, don't get caught. If a tree falls down in the forest, no one hears it ever fall.
It's true.
But I could tell you what, the tree is.
I'm sure that tree is staying pretty positive.
Yeah. Good night or
Yeah.
good afternoon, people.
Good night, good day, good afternoon. Stay positive.